Why Arabic? When it comes to Quran, why do we have it in Arabic? We talked about this last meeting. Quickly, we'll summarize it. First of all, Arabic is what? It is, I don't want to write them down, but Arabic is flexible, old language, has its own grammar, has its ways, variable ways, diversified ways in giving us the image, describing things, very rich. It has roots. You can derive from few letters several words, and we gave example, like 3 letters, you can create so many words and all related. You derive words, from the main one. Another thing about Arabic, its power that we still see till this moment. One of the most important languages on earth, maybe the 4th important language, is Arabic. And that's why it's a shame, somehow, between quotation, what's shame, okay? For us, when we see our kids, they do not speak Arabic, but their parents, they are good at Arabic. Or the parents, they know how to read Quran, but their kids, they do not know how to read Quran. That's not right. Now, back to this story. So those are some of the reasons behind Arabic. Also, the beauty about Arabic, it is related to an environment as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted that environment to prove the miracle, or somehow, let's rephrase it, somehow support the beauty and the strength of the miracle of the Quran. Alaykum assalam alaikum. How? Give you an example. Arab people, they were the most maybe ignorant people in the area. And that's why we call that area, we call it what? Al-Jahiliyyah. Al-Jahiliyyah. Okay? Al-Jahiliyyah. What's Al-Jahiliyyah? Al-Jahiliyyah from Jahl, means ignorance. Okay? These people, they were very nomadic. Very what? Nomadic. Very nomadic. That means they did not have any high-tech things. Their money, their coins, they get them from other civilization. If they want someone who knows how to read and write, they used to go about history, what happened to previous nations. They used to go ask whom? Christians and Jews. And they used to call them Islam called them Ahl al-Kitab. Why? Because the rest, they are not Ahl al-Kitab. Not just because they have a book, but also it's referring to us that these people, they were into reading, but Arab people, they were not into it. They used to memorize things. We'll talk about it in a bit. They had their poetry, literature, but they did not care much about building a civilization. I'm talking about in the time just before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only thing they had, maybe we can think of as a civilization, they had Al-Kaaba. Okay? Alaykum salam. They had the tradition of Ibrahim alayhi salam and his teachings. They had Ahl al-Kitab, Christians and Jews, to teach them about the previous nations. Some of them, they used to fabricate stories to please them. And even it happened after, the death of the Prophet. They used to fabricate stories. Now, if you read in history, we have so many stories, we call them Israeliyat. Why? Because they are not from Muslims. They are from Old Testament or a New Testament. They are not right. And they have negative, ideas or wrong ideas. So they had poetry. They were very good in poetry. They had their manners. But yet, when it comes to civilization, they used to trade لإلاف قريش إلافهم رحلة الشتاء والصيف. They used to be good at this. An Arabic person, you don't see Arabic people like from Quraysh, hands-on, career. No, this is not for us. They have slaves. They used to have slaves. They used to have servants. But as an Arabic guy, if you are from Quraysh, you trade, you have poetry. Some of them get drunk. They get into fights, tribes, issues. So who used to do the rest? Other nations. They did not have if we exclude the trading, they did not have things to build and be proud of. That's why you don't see castles. You do not see houses. Very primitive houses. Very primitive houses. Is that clear? So this is in general I'm talking. We have exceptions. Yes, we do have exceptions. Few of them used to talk. And that's why they say in Quran, هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم. شو يعني هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم؟ in سورة الجمعة. شو يعني؟ أميين, they have two opinions. It's either because Ummi in Arabic means what? You do not read and write. Well, you do not read, let's put it this way. You do not write, let's put it this way. Or both. Okay? That's one of the meaning. The second meaning is what? No, في الأميين, because they belong to al-Qura. Al-Kaaba used to call it what? al-Qura. دائما العرب. Till now we use these kind of terminologies even in English. If you want to show the main source of something, you use the mother. Our mother nature. Till now we say. So al-Ummiyin, al-Qura means the main city. al-Masa'ib, yani the main problem. Okay? So we use this in Arabic. Even in English sometimes we use it. So that's why they say Ummiyin could be from what? al-Qura. That does not mean the Prophet did not read and write. But this is a huge argument. Maybe we'll talk about it later on. I do not know. But quickly, is it wrong for a prophet not to read and write? The question is how these people used to get knowledge and transfer knowledge. Anything that put the Prophet down, we say, as Shia, we don't believe is possible to be contributed or, to be described by the Prophet. Toward the Prophet. So the Prophet is impossible to be, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put him down. Impossible. Anything that might tarnish the image of the Prophet, we don't believe in it. We don't believe. Like some people, they say, oh, one of the wives of the Prophet was blah, blah. You say, hey, haram. It's impossible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the dignity of any prophet, okay? It would be tarnished if you accuse his wife is doing what? Haram relation. It's impossible. You'll be in trouble. Imagine how the Prophet is sitting here and you tell him, did you see what your wife did? What are you doing? Are you crazy? So we respect the Prophet while he is alive or he is dead. Same respect. You are not allowed to accuse that. Yeah, they might do something wrong. Okay. بس مش شغلات إلها خصة بال haram relationship. It's impossible. Or you tell me the Prophet was under the effect of a black magic. We say, hey, stop it there. It's impossible. Because وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Or you tell me the Prophet is coward. Impossible. They say even Ali alayhi salam, when it used to be very tough, battle, they used to be around the Prophet. Why? Because he's the strongest. He's the bravest. Okay? His bravery is well known. So Allah will never send a prophet who is stingy, bad, careless, not kind, not just. It's impossible. All negative things is impossible. Al-Nabi ma'soom, not just ma'soom. Ma'soom means infallible, not just that. And he has to be top manner person. A person with top manners. Clear? And when it comes to Prophet Muhammad, he is the maximum perfect person among them. وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Your morals beyond any other morals. So they say Al-Ummiyin either is related to those who are living in al-Qura, or no, he was, in the beginning at least, did not write and read. Why? Allah wanted this to tell people, if this person never read a book, never read the Bible, never wrote a poem, never even talked about, poetry, where did he get all of a sudden this knowledge and start delivering a book like Quran? So there is a wisdom, we say here. Does that put him down because he did not read and write previously? No. Why? Because, continuing my previous, thought, because the Prophet does not need to earn his knowledge or transmit his knowledge for a written document. We need it now. Back then, no. Back then, an Arabic guy would memorize thousands of poetry verses. He does not need to write it down. They used to depend on their memory. Okay? Is that clear? It's very important. So does that mean the Prophet, through hearing other religions, took ideas and put it in the Quran? We say it's impossible. Why? Because, that's a big subject. Because if I say something similar to you, doesn't mean I stole it from you and everyone in different galaxy. Sometimes we have common ideas, especially if it is from the same, God. And also the Quran kept its own style when it comes to talking about the previous nations and kept the same doctrine. We did not see it in the Bible. Yani a prophet, in order to gain the attention of people and gain more followers, does he shock the society with something totally new, or he would be going with them, little by little? Example, one of our problems in Christianity, Catholicism. If you go study Catholicism, it's totally different than Orthodox. Totally. You see, Catholicism is more into what? Merging and melting with its environment. So, you know what? You are celebrating this Halloween. Let's keep this Halloween and we tweak it a little bit. You are celebrating this for your God. Let's tweak it a little bit and we make it for Christ. Christ was not born in Christmas Eve. Was born before Christmas Eve, as you know. And even if I want to go with Orthodox Church, it's second year in January somewhere. People, they are with the statues. Don't destroy the statues. Let's make them what? Mary, Jesus. And that's why when you go to their churches, it's about what? Statues, art, pictures. You come to Islam, it's about Quran, words. We don't have a picture of a Prophet Muhammad. We don't have a picture of Fatima alayhi salam. We care more about what? The wisdom behind the words. This is very important. A Protestant, you see the Protestant, they have a cross. They don't have a Jesus on the cross. You go to the Catholic Church, it is really scary. I mean, imagine your kid is watching a cross and Jesus is bleeding and, in pain. Why? Allah is merciful. Why you have this teaching of death and pain? Why are you showing people that God, in order to gain His mercy, you have to go through all this agony? If He was not nice with His Son, how would be nice with us? As you claim. So I'm not saying everything they have is based on this, but I'm saying that's what you can recognize if you zoom out the picture. In Islam, we don't have this. In Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came in, people are worshipping idols. He said, we don't believe in them, this is superstitious. There is only one God. And when he got a chance to enter Kaaba, he with Imam Ali alayhi salam, what happened? They destroyed the statues. They did not rename them or reshape them or repaint them. That's it. This is shirk. And when even Quraysh, they say, هذه inshallah we'll discuss it later on in Surah Al-Kafirun. Quraysh, لا أعبد ما تعبدون. Okay? When Quraysh came, they asked the Prophet, why don't we have a deal through Abu Talib? Why don't we have this deal? We worship your God 1 year, and you worship our God next year, and we keep alternating like a sine wave or cosine wave, does not matter. Okay? Depends on your reference point. So, what did the Prophet say? لَكُمْ دِينُكُمْ وَلِيَ دِينِ. I have my religion, and you mushrikeen do not believe in God, you have your religion. No compromise. That's not easy. To challenge the society, this is not easy. So when I say al-ummiyin, this idea, not writing, not reading in the beginning or before being a prophet, should not be a problem. Why? Because knowledge could have been transmitted, acquired through other ways. It is like now you go to the college and you do not have a calculator and you do not know how to use it. You think you are going to be a smart student in the class? You will never finish. Because the exam is based on certain calculators, مش يعني بس basic one, graphic maybe. So now if you don't own it, maybe you're in trouble. Or if you don't have, let's say, MATLAB on your computer, you cannot finish your project. Now our ummi is different level. Or you live nowadays in this country and you do not know how to use a phone, a smartphone, or to Google something. And guess what? A couple years from now, you do not know how to use a ChatGPT, or you don't have a robot at home. Oh, you're married to a human being? You're not married to a robot? Oh man, that's tough. Oh, poor guy, Who knows what's going to happen? So things change, okay? Now, so this is the advantage. What's the advantage? The advantage, Islam is telling people, okay, first of all, I'm going to put power of the language, okay? It is powerful because of what? Because of description, because of its words, grammar, just name it, okay? Secondly, it's an old language. That means it has its what? Old language does not mean a dead language. That means it went through so many development and civilization and survived. It's not like English, and we gave examples of English. Yeah? English, what's English? It's a hybrid language. Before you start using your hybrid car, your language is hybrid. It's just collecting stuff from here and there. We don't have, a history like Germanic languages or Semitic languages like Hebrew and Arabic. Those are old languages. Third, has nothing to do with the language itself, has to do with what? With the environment. Environment is telling us the majority were what? Where? What did you say? Or was? Majority was what? Illiterate. The majority were illiterate. It's not ill. Okay, I don't want to read it. Okay, the majority were illiterate, ignorant. Second, about the environment. Second, if it were to be illiterate, including whom? Most likely, according to one of the historian, the Prophet himself, at least when the Quran was delivered, at least. Now, later on, things got different because he already proved the point. That's a different story. It's not our argument. So, the majority illiterate. Where did he get this Quran from? Very eloquent, very deep, very profound. Where? How? You know about the previous. He knows about stories not even mentioned in the Bible. So many detailed in the Quran. Even we have prophets in the Quran. They're not mentioned in the Bible. You know that. You have a couple prophets in the Quran never mentioned in the Bible. We have stories similar to that one of the Bible, but yet more professional way. Yani example. I'm sorry, I'm going off the topic a little bit in every statement, but it's important. I don't want you to get bored, okay? In the Bible, we have the prophet, we call him Prophet Lot. Sheikh. In Arabic, we call him Prophet what? Lut. Prophet Lut, in the Quran, infallible, nice, cared about his people, don't do haram, do not get involved in all this. Well, at least it was gay problem. Now we have LGBTQ+++, okay, like C++, okay? Maybe later we'll have a Java. C or C#. So now, for the Christians in the Old Testament, to be more precise, Lot got drunk. His daughter made him get drunk. He slept with her. The other daughter get jealous, made him drunk, and he slept with her. And that's why they say, some of them, they will tell you, oh, that's why we have different people, because one of them is cursed. Allah, I was talking to a Christian friend. I told him, man, if your priest in the church, that happened to him, do you go to that church anymore with your kids? He said, no, impossible. He said, so why you claim that happened to the prophet like Lot? He said, well, in order to teach us, because he's a role model. I said, wallah, if every time he wants to teach us about something, tough luck, man, He has to steal, get drunk, get into car accident, commit. What are you talking about? A role model is not this. I don't know how you understand role model. That's the wrong way. Imagine, you want to get a car. You want to make sure your insurance will pay for you. You take the car and get into accident. Oh, yeah, that's a good insurance. No, we don't do this. We do not do this. That's a wrong concept of, role model. So while in Islam, we don't have this. Totally different virgin, upgraded, well filtered, very professional. We don't go into details. هلا بتروحوا مثلا in the ship or the ark of Nabi Noah. It is that big, that tall, I don't know how many animals. In Islam, Noah built a ship. How does it look like? I have no clue. Joseph, Nabi Yusuf, was so beautiful. What's the color of his eyes? I have no clue. How tall he is? I have no clue. What's his skin color? I don't care. What's his weight? I don't care. Okay? Islam avoid these details. You see details in something more important. When it comes to Aqidah, Allah will go directly. Allah is one. He had no parents and no kids. Clear, straightforward. Over there, when it comes to Aqidah, you see missing links. But yet, when it comes to stories, mashallah, details. And some details is not right. Clear? So that's why we cannot say it's a copy-paste. And let's say there is a copy-paste process. Assume, wal'iyadu billah, it's impossible. So why he copied-paste the right stuff and he did not copy-paste the wrong stuff? Well, how? How could it be? And how come the Christians did not come and tell him, hey, this is our idea? No one said that. No one said that. Anyway, it's a long story. So the majority was illiterate. Illustrated, okay. The majority was illiterate. I was using illustration, that's why. Environment, the majority was illiterate. Yet, a person came and he brought to Arabia not just about the few in Al-Ghaib. Al-Ghaib. Okay? So here, brought what? Brought Al-Ghaib. What's Al-Ghaib? I on purpose put this. Why I'm using this? Al-Ghaib, what's Al-Ghaib? Wallah, we say Al-Imam Ya'lam Al-Ghaib. Al-Wahhabi right away, because he is useless, brainless. Wahhabi are brainless people when it comes to Sharia, okay? I know they are hearing me, but this is a true statement. Okay. I was talking to a Wahhabi guy. The first thing he said, take your brain and put it in this recycle bin. He said garbage. I'm using recycle bin out of respect. Why? You are not allowed to think. You take it as is. شو يا حبيبي as is? خلاص as is. شو I'm buying a car from the auction يعني مثلا? I don't get it. But anyway, you know how it's in auction, huh? I'm selling you this car as is. It's up to you يعني. Anyway, when it comes to Al-Ghaib, we say Al-Imam Ya'lam Al-Ghaib. Oh, that's shirk. يا حبيبي روح شوي شو الشرك يعني؟ Oh, that's kufr. Why? Because the only one who knows al-ghaib, they will tell you what? Allah. Allah يعلم الغيب. شاك? Oh, you say النبي يعلم الغيب? They will tell you يا حبيبي ايه يعلم الغيب؟ ما انت you know الغيب. استغفر الله. How do I know الغيب? يا حبيبي انت بتعرف الغيب. Allah سبحانه وتعالى. Sometimes he send a good vision. You know, while you are sleeping, you will have a good dream. 2 days later, it happens. What's this? غيب? والله ليلى عبد اللطيف يعني مثلا بلبنان. It's غيب, but limited غيب. ليلى عبد اللطيف is something I don't respect. But anyway, when someone is telling you a story you never heard of, what do we call this? غيب. Al-Ghaib, it's something that you are not aware of, was hidden from you. That's why غيب. That's why we say غابت الشمس. غابت الغروب. شايف؟ الغروب وين إذا الغروب؟ لما الشمس ماذا؟ تغيب. تغيب يعني you cannot see it anymore. So anything that is hidden, we call it what? Away from your comprehension. Never thought about it. It's غيب. Could be past, could be present, could be future. Does the Imam know Al-Ghaib or Al-Nabi know? Yeah. Does he know everything? It's up to Allah. And that's why there are certain knowledge. Al-Imam Ali alayhi salam used to say, the Prophet told me thousands and thousands of knowledge. علمني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم 1000 باب من العلم. From every door, 1,000 doors of knowledge. From every door I have what? Another 1,000 door, يعني categories. علمني, he taught me. He taught me. It is not just downloaded to him. Okay, so certain ghaib, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the mu'min know about it through a good dream. Not any dream. It's not every dream يعني good dream. Worth it to check. Sheikh, I had this in a dream. يعني. You will get like 100 messages about the dreams. Don't do this because you will be blocked. Okay. Well, it happens. Secondly, al-ghaib could be you feel it. Especially, let's say, a mom. She will call her son, hey, I feel you're not good. All of a sudden, get involved in an accident. She felt it. Or you feel it yourself. Or, and that's why sometimes when you feel something bad, always talk to Allah. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika mimma yatawajjasu fi nafsi. I feel something no good. Please, God, help me. You know, I seek your shelter, your protection. Don't disconnect yourself from you're in trouble. Don't. And other, ways of al-ghaib. Some al-ghaib, how do we know it? We as normal people. From Quran. Who told us about the Yawm al-Qiyamah? What's going to happen to the sun? What's going to happen to the moon? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is ghaib. Some stories in the Quran about Maryam alayhi salam. Allah told Nabi Prophet Muhammad. Ahl al-Kahfi told him. And so many stories. So how could those illiterate people know about al-ghaib? Especially some of that ghaib happened. Example. And this is one of the miracles we use it. Not just to prove this, the powerful of the language. I mean, the powerful of this kind of contradiction, if you want to look at it, or paradox. غُلِبَتِ الرُّوم. In the time of the Prophet, Roman were defeated. And they went crazy. The Quran said, those people were defeated. In a few years, they will, what? Be victorious. And it happened. غُلِبَتِ الرُّوم وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيُغْلَبُونَ. And we have a chapter in the Quran, we call it Surah Ar-Rum. You read it Laylat al-Qadr too, isn't it? Al-Ankabut wa Surah Ar-Rum. Check. Wallah, we forgot. وَالدُّخَان. That's one of the third. So Surah Ar-Rum. Or when he talk about Abi Lahab, تبت يدا أبي لهب وتب ما أغنى عنه ماله. بعدين شو قال؟ سيصلى. Oh, he's going to hellfire. How did he know? And so many things. When it comes to science, do we have verses that nowadays go in parallel with science? Yeah, so many. So many. I gave you an example. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. From water, or because of water, now different explanations, we have living beings. Why water? I said that before. Why water? Why not water, air, food? I mean, usually, if you want to survive in a desert, what do you need? Only water? You need water, food. What else? Air. So why the Quran only pick water? Because nowadays science will tell us there are certain bacteria, if you expose it to oxygen, it will die. It will burn. But could not survive without water. How did he know? Oh, you atheist. Yeah, but we know water is important to plant your... يا حبيبي ايه بس ما البلانت بدها dust وبدها fertilizer بدها sun. He's not talking about this. Oh, the cattle, they need water. Yeah, but they need food. He's not talking about this. He only picked water because this is the only common things among all living beings. It's not just your farm. It's not just your parents. It's not your kids. It's not your cattle. It's not your bees. It is more than this. It is very global, meditation, if you want to put it this way. But it's not meditation, it's from Allah. So we have so many things. وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقْفًا مَحْفُوظًا. Yani we made the sky as a shelter to protect you. How did he know? Just tell me now. You know, when we have something coming from the outside of earth, does it hit earth right away or it will start burning? What do you think? Why? Because atmosphere. How did he know this? وَجَعَلْنَا السَّمَاءَ سَقْفًا مَحْفُوظًا. Protecting you. It's a shield. How did he know? هلا بيجي يقول لي ما هو كان عنده telescope. Or he knew that from China. Baby, I don't know where's your brain when you're talking to me. Okay? Talk to me when you have your brain is turned on, please. That's the way we talk to them. I gave up. Yani Allah, subhanallah, yani the Prophet only picked the right things from other civilization. No mistakes. He never picked something wrong. Wow, that's a good genius person then. So this is no sense. So this is, the majority was illiterate and they did not even have knowledge. The Quran came, gave them something they did not know. Ahlul Kitab, the Christians and the Jews, they agreed on it. And they used to refer to them to double check the idea, and they used to tell them yes. Another thing, people were awaiting for what? A messenger that's going to come from Arabia. And that's why they were not shocked. They were expecting a messenger from the offspring of Abraham or Moses. Different stories. Okay? Third, the nature of people. Allah, you hear so many bad things about the people back then. Ignorant, وما بعرف شو, superstitious. Yes. And this is, we can add it here. Yani they were, they believed in, they were illiterate and they had what? They believed in superstitious stuff. They had nothing, no knowledge, no logic. Okay? Let's say a person came up with a new idea. They used to call him abqari. Abqari in English would be what? What's abqari? Yani? Genius. Genius. Why they used to call him abqari? Because they used to believe if you go to a certain mountain, its name Abqar, you get involved with jinn and you come back nerd. Or touched by jinn. This isn't. You are sick, يعني let's put kharzi zar'a to avoid evil eye to them. And just name it. Write something and let him put it on to avoid the poison of a snake. What's so bad? Till now we have people, they believe the same thing. Okay? Till now. And we talk about the black magic in our previous session, you remember? All this, Islam get rid of it. You think this guy, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they call it this guy, not us. You think he was compromising? He did a huge revolution. Okay. Awaiting for a prophet. They were awaiting for it. Third one, the environment, the nature of Arab people. Okay? Arabs, they had what? Good manners. Good manners like what? Yani, they were generous. They cared about their neighbors. They cared about their dignity. They have self-esteem. They were brave. They were willing to sacrifice for the sake of their beliefs, their faith, even if it were to be wrong. Okay, till now, we see Arab people, they overreact. You go to the street, okay, you have a car problem. Well, no one will stop maybe, no one will care. In Arabic country, half of the neighborhood will come, hey, what's the problem? How can I help you? Isn't it? We saw this. They are proactive, okay? Somehow, and they are over sometimes what? Reactive people. when it comes to, for instance, Karbala, about 70 people stood with Imam Hussein to the last minute. And they knew they were dying. Why? To them, it's a shame. I die and I live and Imam Hussein die. Not just Aqidah, also it's their good attributes. It's their genetic maybe. Okay, and the history repeats what? Itself. Okay? It is in their gene. And that's why you saw the civilization went exponentially from camel and tent people all the way to a civilization. Why? They did not care. They stood with the Prophet. They supported him. They died before him. They died because of the message. They stood against their parents, relatives, friends. Why? Because they believed in the Prophet. And they gave him a commitment. And this is not easy. Imagine a person, he is 60 years old, 50 years old. He has been worshiping idols for more than 50 years. He comes in, he hears the Quran. He is illiterate, but guess what? He's good in Arabic. He would say, hey, this is not a human made. This is different. So that 60 years old person, he believed in Islam. While he was praying, he started thinking of his garden. Once he was done, he came to the Prophet. He said, "Oh Prophet, this garden is for Muslims. I don't want it. The whole garden. Why?" He said, "I don't want anything to occupy me when I am praying. I don't want anything to distract me while I'm talking to Allah. I don't want it. Allah will compensate me." Where do you find this? Allah هو هون شوية tax return, he does not give a charity. No tax return. Okay? And this is something we are proud of. We are proud of. Okay? Generosity. Till now, you see among Arab people, they might fight who's going to pay for the food if they are invited. No, me, not you, okay. You see others, married people. I said this last time. His wife has her receipt and the husband has his own receipt. Sometimes if he pays for her, see, I'm paying for your food. Ya habibi, in Arabic, it's a big problem. You let your wife pay for the food, you're not a man anymore, isn't it? So we have these stories. So they have so many good manners. We focus on the negative ones, but they have good manners. Another thing is, they were willing to change. And I gave an example just in a few minutes. They are willing to change. Why? Because they were honest and simple. Simple people. Hala, now, so many people in this mosque came to me and converted to Islam. I can bid on it. If I were to be in Europe, no one will show up. Why? Complex society over there. People, they have their own way of thinking, their own heritage. Maybe they are fanatic. Here, people, they want to change. You know, they want to know what's happening. They are not connected to a wrong narration of history. Well, in politics, different story. Okay, I'm talking about Aqidah. Okay, oh, what's Mary? Oh, that's interesting. I want to be a Muslim. Allah, they are willing to change. Why? Because we call it in Arabic على الفطرة. يعني they feel there is God, but they have, some of them, modified, belief. And we add to that back then what? Statues, but they believed. They respected Kaaba, and they protected Kaaba. Okay. Another thing here we can add, in addition to the language and everything, Um, Before I forget, off the record a little bit, you remember the time that the prophet was born in, since we were talking about awaiting for a prophet. The prophet was born in a year among famous opinions of the scholars, okay? Famous opinion. We call it Am al-Fil. What's al-Fil? Elephant. Am al-Fil, يعني there is a problem happened during that year. You know the story, isn't it? The story, one of the Arab people, they say, did something bad to a temple for a Yemeni big shot guy. That Yemeni guy, anyway, he killed his leader. It's a long story now, forget about details. So he decided to revenge. So he came to Kaaba to destroy it, because to him it is considered a disgrace. Some people, they said, no, he wants attention. So he decided to make people go visit what? His temple rather than Kaaba. Regardless of now the reason, that guy brings in his army, and they say it has elephant or couple elephants, who knows now. And when we say al-fil, does not mean one elephant. It could be several elephants. He brought them from Yemen all the way to Arabia. You tell me why he needs a field. He could have destroyed it anyway, because the houses are not a skyscraper, to show what? His arrogance, his power, and to make them what? Frightened. Like nowadays you see wars, mass destruction for no reason. Why? Just to make people what? Afraid. Don't we see this nowadays? It's a building. What are you doing? I know it's going to get destroyed. Why are you destroying it? Just to make you feel what? The pain. So he brought this to terrify Arabic people. Once he started approaching Kaaba to destroy it, who was there? Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib, they say, he went, before they entered the Kaaba, he went to Abraha, his name. He went to him. He said, what do you want? He said, your people stole from me, okay, several camels. I want them back. He said, are you crazy? I thought you came to talk to me about Kaaba. You are talking about your camels? I said, the camels are mine. Kaaba is for Allah. Allah will take care of it. He was like, what's going on with this guy? So he's showing him, well, I don't care about you. So he came and he said his famous statement, لِلْكَعْبَةِ رَبٌّ يَحْمِي. So they came, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. شو بعد؟ أَلَمْ يَجْعَلْ كَيْدَهُمْ في تضليل. طيرا. Exactly. So they say some kind of birds start stoning them. And the elephant did not even move. And Kaaba stayed. But guess what? In certain areas later on, it was destroyed. But Allah, as if subhanahu wa ta'ala, wanted that year to be marked the year that the Prophet was born in, like a sign, and showing people there is always a hidden hand at certain moments, at the critical moments. Clear? So this is ghaib. How did we know about it? This is ghaib. Allah taught us about this ghaib. You tell me, how come this does not happen now? Because it's up to the wisdom of Allah. But we know one thing, brothers and sisters. 1,400 years, this Islam survived. And survived big time, catastrophic events. Mughal, Sheikh, came, destroyed every civilization, even Baghdad. They say they get rid of the books and threw them in a river. The river turned into black because of the ink, as they say. So they came all the way from their areas to Baghdad, Iraq, and they reached what? Egypt. And in Egypt, they were defeated. They were not stoppable. They were defeated. And once they were defeated, they start getting what? Into Islamic culture. Some of them became Muslim. They get married to certain ladies and they like Islam. And those used to be tough guys. And those people start fighting their people. And Islam survived. Don't ever think that Allah will let this message die. So many civilizations were gone. Quran, only the Quran, if you look at it, till now, same language. Protected. You think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let this Islam vanish or perish? Impossible. Yeah, it's up and down, but it will never, ever vanish. Never. Yani halla, if you were to be in the time of Imam Hussein, what you are going to say? Oh, Imam Hussein was killed, Al-Abbas was killed, Ali al-Akbar was killed, oh, no more Islam. Ya Habibi, no, there is Islam, wait. Okay. It's going to continue. The message is going to continue. It's going to be a big burden, but it's going to continue. So those are some of the reasons why we care about it. This sense of sacrifice among Arab people. They are willing to sacrifice. They protected the Prophet. They protected Ahlul Bayt. It's not easy. Some of them, they are bad, hypocrite. That's a different story. But you see it in them more than other nations. Al-Fitra, also one of them, we said, they are willing to change, to accept the message. Their society is not complex. That's why it was easier on them to acquire a new good template. And the last one here, we have the memory. I mean, you might laugh at this, but Arab people used to memorize things. Why? Nomadic people live in a desert. They don't have any multitasking things. They don't have any stress. They don't have credit card problems, mortgage problems, car problems, war problems, no X notifications, or Instagram, or YouTube, or emails, or text messages, or vote, or do not. Does not. Khalas, simple. So he used to go there. He had to depend on his memory to recall things, and he can discuss it with others. We are missing this, brothers and sisters. Now an event happened, you don't have time to talk to others. You're going to forget it. But when your son, your kid, your grandkid shows up, please tell me a story. You start what? Using your... Exactly. And you start remembering things and talking about it. But نحن هلا, and if I tell you, tell me what happened to you like last week. I don't know. Let me check my Instagram or status, That's a problem. So they used to, and that helped us what? To memorize the Quran. They used to memorize it very quickly. And then Imam Ali alayhi salam was one of the writers. In addition to that, we have Ahlul Bayt later on to assure everything. So this is the story of Arabic. Any question? Oh, we passed the time. Any questions? Next time, inshallah, we'll be talking about asbab and the other thing here, in Arabic also, because Arabic language is so powerful, it gave the Quran a way to send a message beyond one meaning or two meanings or three meanings. It was like an ocean. The deeper you go, the more you get. It's still water, And that's why we have hadith. This is important hadith. I don't know if I still have the page, if I remember my password. Okay. Please work. This Amazon product. So. Okay, we have hadith, and it's interesting hadith. إن القرآن حي لم يمت وإنه يجري كما يجري الليل والنهار وكما تجري الشمس والقمر ويجري على آخرنا كما يجري على أولنا. This is تفسير العيش. But we have one from Al-Kafi, is second volume, page 156, hadith 28. Okay, I lost the page. That's interesting. He said, فَلَا تَكُونَنَّ مِمَّنْ يَقُولُ لِلشَّيْءِ إِنَّهُ فِي شَيْءٍ واحد. يعني القرآن, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to those riwayat, was not sent, this is what we're going to explain inshallah next time, was not sent for specific occasion, specific people, unless you prove it that way. It was wider than that. And the Ahl al-Bayt is saying, this is like sun and the moon. You always feel it's in you. You always feel you are in need of it. You're always looking for it. You're always checking it. هلا نحن قديش كل يوم عندنا هلال بنقعد نتخانق عليه يعني مش بس we invent ideas. Should we use telescope, not telescope, okay? So it's like a joke here. If you have any questions, we're going to stop it here inshallah. We keep the rest of the time for questions and answers. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.